I've said this before. We've all been inappropriately touched in Hollywood, period. That's what it is. We've all, at some point or another, been inappropriately touched in Hollywood. Whether you a black hetero male has possibly hindered my career.
Hi, Laura. These are for you. Wow, are you wearing a bra?
In the Hollywood industry, black artists face a disproportionate risk of being wrongly accused or convicted of various crimes. The prevalent stereotype portraying black men and women as excessively particularly in criminal or S contexts, often hinders their recognition as potential victims. In truth, black men and women might be among the least acknowledged survivors of S violence or any other injustice, as they grapple with the burden of societal expectations and biases. Cat Williams revealed eye-opening information in his impactful Club Shay Shay video. Additionally, Media Takeout has acquired insights from actor Darius McCrary, renowned for his role in the 1990s hit series Family Matters, shedding further light on the darker aspects of Hollywood.
Darius says he was a victim of conduct when he was a child actor in Hollywood, okay? So I want you to think that Carl was touching on Eddie.
In a candid interview, Darius, known for his childhood role as Eddie Winslow, revealed a startling perspective, asserting that virtually everyone in Hollywood, regardless of gender, has experienced inappropriate touching. Eddie emphasized, "I've said this before. We've all been inappropriately touched in Hollywood. It's just what it is. We have all been inappropriately touched in Hollywood, whether the audience realizes it or not." Cat Williams, in his groundbreaking Club Shay Shay interview, caused a stir by suggesting that Hollywood men are systematically G by high-level executives and coerced into engaging in certain activities, including those of a S nature, as a means to advance in the industry. This revelation nearly broke the internet, highlighting a disturbing aspect of the dynamics within the entertainment business. Darius McCrary is a versatile American actor, rapper, singer, and producer. He gained prominence for his portrayal of Edward Eddie Winslow, the eldest child of Carl and Harriet Winslow, on the long-running ABC-CBS television sitcom Family Matters, which aired from 1989 to 1998. McCrary made his film debut in 1987, playing the role of Scam in the comedy film Big Shots. Additionally, he lent his voice to the character Jazz in the 2007 film Transformers. Notably, from December 2009 to October 2011, he took on the role of photographer Malcolm Winters in the CBS daytime drama The Young and the Restless. His diverse career showcases his talents across various entertainment mediums. Darius McCrary revealed that he too experienced SA, recounting being inappropriately touched by an unnamed Hollywood executive when he was a young man. While not providing further details about the incident during a conversation with a TMZ reporter in Beverly Hills, McCrary did share his perspective on the recent SA allegations against his friend Charlie Sheen. Expressing support for Sheen, McCrary stated, "All I can say is Charlie is one of the most magnificent and kind people that God ever created, and I can't see Charlie Sheen doing anything inappropriate." This comment was made in response to recent claims that Sheen, at the age of 19, had SA the late Corey Haim when Haim was 13. Haim's mother refuted these allegations, asserting in an interview that her son had been A by someone else, not Sheen. "People who are thirsty are always looking for a good drink, and from what I know, Charlie Sheen will quench your thirst," McCrary said of the allegations. "Drink that." McCrary continued with the thirsty line of thought, adding that he wouldn't be worried about the allegations. "But I will say this though," McCrary said, "I was inappropriately touched by a Hollywood executive, and I'm not going to tell on nobody. This happened when I was a young man." Asked to elaborate, McCrary declined. "I'm not thirsty," he said, "so I ain't got to tell my business." Darius has gained popularity from a very popular show, Family Matters, and he has claimed from that set he started to face A. Furthermore, Darius McCrary found himself in legal trouble last month when he was reportedly arrested for his alleged failure to meet child support obligations, as reported by TMZ. This incident marked the second time he had been taken into custody over such allegations. McCrary and his ex-wife, Tammy Bronner, officially concluded their divorce in 2019, a process that spanned 4 years from the initial arrest related to child support issues. Even after the agreement was finalized, he still owed a substantial amount in back payments. The actor was apprehended on November 27th and entered a plea of not guilty in response to the charges.
My experience with my son has led me down a very difficult road, and it's been a really ugly experience.
Darius McCrary and former Harlem Globetrotter Tammy Bronner tied the knot in 2014. However, their marriage encountered significant challenges, leading to Tammy filing for divorce in 2017. In her filing, she cited concerns about the safety of their infant daughter, alleging instances of and alcohol, domestic violence, and accusing McCrary of partially dislocating their daughter Zoe's shoulder. As part of the divorce settlement, the court mandated that McCrary pay $1,366 per month in child support. By the time the divorce was officially concluded in 2019, McCrary had accumulated $52,788.04 in unpaid child support. If he has not made any payments since then, the arrears could now exceed twice that amount.
Court system can do to men who really want to be in their children's lives, man. You know, the system wasn't broken, it was designed this way, and what we try to do is
McCrary informed the court about his financial struggles, revealing that he had only earned $500 in a year and was grappling with a $90,000 debt to the IRS. In 2015, Darius faced legal issues when he was arrested for failing to pay $5,500 in child support to his child's mother. With another daughter and son from a previous relationship, the 47-year-old actor has encountered ongoing challenges with legal matters. In a recent incident reported by Page 6 on October 25, 2023, Darius McCrary was arrested in Redondo Beach, California. While the specific charges leading to his arrest were not disclosed, the Redondo Beach Police Department confirmed that there was an out-of-state fugitive warrant issued in Michigan. Given McCrary's previous discussions about a custody battle for his son in Michigan, it is plausible that this arrest may be linked to further issues related to unpaid child support. The hope is that McCrary can address these legal challenges and make positive changes for the well-being of his children. His supporters argue that he became embroiled in controversies as a result of his involvement in the sitcom. Allegedly, a stressful life has prompted him to now speak up about the reasons behind these occurrences. When Family Matters premiered on ABC in 1989 as part of the Friday night TGIF lineup, it presented a notably different tone compared to its later evolution. Initially conceived as a spin-off to the TGF series Perfect Strangers, the show provided a wholesome portrayal of the Winslow family. It began as a charming and amusing series, but underwent a significant transformation with the introduction of the character Steve Urkel, played by Jaleel White. Urkel quickly became the focal point, overshadowing the original theme of the Winslow family. While this shift contributed to the show's increased viewership, the excessive focus on Steve Urkel and the young actor portraying him led to some tensions among the rest of the cast.
No, I've been practicing. Watch this.
Harriet Winslow initially served as a supporting character on Perfect Strangers, portrayed by Jo Marie Payton. Operating the elevator at the Chicago Chronicle newspaper, where Balky Bartokomous and Larry Appleton, played by Bronson Pinchot and Mark Lynn Baker, worked, Harriet made her mark during seasons 3 and 4. Both audiences and, significantly, producers appreciated her character. Occasionally, her husband Carl Reginald Vell Johnson made appearances. While his role may not have been extensive, the timing was opportune as Vell Johnson's popularity surged in the late 80s, owing to his notable performance in Die Hard. This led to the decision to create a spin-off for Harriet and Carl, giving rise to their own show. Family Matters debuted in the autumn of 1989 as a quintessential wholesome 80s sitcom with a touch of sentimentality. Carl, a Chicago police officer, and Harriet, who initially worked at the Chicago Chronicle as an elevator operator, though she would be dismissed from this role early in the first season, formed the core of the show. While occasional scenes depicted their professional lives, the series primarily centered around their family dynamics, especially their home life. The Winslow family comprised 2 teenagers, Eddie played by Darius McCrary and Laura played by Kelly Shania Williams. Additionally, there was a younger daughter named Judy, played by Jamie Foxworth, who curiously disappeared from the show as if she never existed, notably in season 4. The family extended to include Carl's mother, Estelle played by Rosetta Lenoir, and Harriet's younger widowed sister, Rachel played by Telma Hopkins, along with her young son, Richie played by Brighton McClure. All these individuals shared a traditional sitcom house setup in Family Matters, where the all-black cast brought a refreshing and distinctive perspective to television. In the 1980s, non-white characters were not uncommon on TV, but they often played token roles, served as sidekicks, embodied comic relief, or were subjected to uncomfortable stereotypes. What set Family Matters apart was how its characters were portrayed. While The Cosby Show, the biggest sitcom of the time, openly discussed race, Family Matters took a simpler approach. Though not not hesitant to touch on racial themes occasionally, the show didn't make it a central focus. Instead, it aimed to depict a Black family that could navigate life just like any other family, facing similar challenges and triumphs. This simplicity allowed for episodes where Eddie might fib about his grades, or Rachel could stir up family dynamics by writing a story about them. Amidst the drama and conflicts, each half-hour episode concluded with a heart-to-heart talk, accompanied by swelling music and applause from the in-studio audience, bringing the Winslow family back together. Carl and Harriet were initially the central figures in Family Matters, leading an ensemble cast where each member had a chance to shine. However, a pivotal turning point occurred in the 12th episode of Season 1, titled Laura's First Date. In this episode, Laura goes on her first date with a character named Steve Urkel, a stereotypical nerd with an annoying personality and distinctive nasally voice. Despite Laura's lack of interest, audiences were captivated by Urkel's hilarious demeanor, characterized by his oversized glasses, high energy, peculiar laugh, and signature suspenders. By Season 2, Urkel became a part of the main cast.
Nice house for a cop.
Thanks.
Excuse me.
Family Matters underwent a significant shift, transitioning from focusing on family matters to revolving around the comedic antics of Steve Urkel. He frequently barged into the Winslow family home uninvited, fixated on Laura, and proved a source of frustration for Carl. His pratfalls and catchphrases like, "Did I do that?" became iconic. While entertaining, Urkel's character sometimes verged on caricature rather than a portrayal of a real person. From Season 2 until the series' conclusion, what began as a sweetly sentimental show about a family evolved into a narrative dominated by Steve Urkel's escapades and the Winslows' reactions to them. This change didn't sit well with much of the cast, as their show had seemingly been taken from them and handed over to an unexpected newcomer. In a 2021 interview for TV OWN, Jaleel White spoke about some of the difficulties he faced on Family Matters. "I didn't see how I was stepping on anybody's toes. I was taking anybody's shine. It's very important that I say this. I was not very well welcomed to the cast at all, okay? And I don't need to rehash that with the adults over and over again. They know what it is. It was what it was. They knew more than I did about the business at that age. They understood how the dynamic was changing. But I do think they do deserve credit at times for having helped foster a more harmonious environment by Season 3, by Season 4, by Season 5. And we did become very much a family." Reginald VelJohnson talked with Entertainment Tonight last year about Jaleel White, telling them, "He was a wonderful kid, but I think working with him was a challenge. Working with everybody was a challenge. And there were some moments where he was a little difficult. But overall, I have nothing but good memories from him. I think, a lot of the kids grew up on the set and we had to deal with children. And that was an interesting experience, dealing with children as they grew up. I went to my dressing room and locked the door when I rehearsed my scenes because that was the only way. Because kids have a lot of energy. And you couldn't deal with it. I remember one incident. He and the kids were playing basketball on the set, and I just couldn't take it. I said, please stop the basketball, and they wouldn't stop. I said, listen, you either stop the basketball playing or I'm gonna leave. And I left, but there was no more basketball after that. While VelJohnson acknowledged there were challenges with Jaleel White, he refrained from delving into extensive details. Over the years, rumors circulated that White's growing fame led to difficulties in collaborating with him, suggesting he became challenging to work with. However, White himself revealed deeper issues in the same TV OWN interview. He recounted an uncomfortable incident involving the parents of Family Matters when he took on the role of Myrtle Urkel, a Southern Belle character adorned with big dresses and pigtails. Myrtle made sporadic appearances throughout the series, debuting in Season 2 when White was just 14. White discussed the unsettling encounter that occurred the first time he portrayed Myrtle. "I did run into an issue. Joe Marie and Reggie at that time were very sensitive to putting Black men in dresses, and they heaped that on me, and they let me know I was not doing our race a service by putting on that yellow dress. But everybody has a default. Do you crumble? Do you wilt under pressure? Do you rise? Do you surprise yourself? My default tends to be to take it up a notch. That evening, I felt like a girl playing Myrtle Urkel, but I cried like a baby at the end of that take. I just broke." White remembers his father also having to step in, with White paraphrasing his father saying, "He shouldn't have to carry the burden of some adults making a child feel bad for playing a girl just in fun." Jo Marie Payton, who would eventually leave the show in its final season, partly due to frustration with the decision to write off Foxworth's Judy to make more room for Urkel, has spoken out on her issues with White as well. On E's True Hollywood Story, Payton talked about her reaction reaction to finding out that the show was going to be more about Steve Urkel. And we said, okay, we weren't happy about it. I think along the way it got to be a little resentful, but it was just an adjustment that we had to make. She further shared a shocking story. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Peyton opened up about her then co-star Jaleel White's alleged behavior while working on the series. In fact, the actress who starred as Harriet Winslow once had an encounter with White, who played Steve Urkel, that she claimed nearly turned physical. There was one time he actually wanted to physically fight me, Peyton 71 said while recalling the season 9 episode Original Gangsta Dog. The episode in question saw White, 45, doubling as Steve's gangster cousin OGD. There was a scene where I said we can't do that. Standards and practices will not let that pass. It's not gonna happen. He wanted to do it anyway. He was so mad he started kick, scream stuff. She continued. He said something about, she must want to melee. I said, what's a melee? He said, a fight. I turned around. If you want to fight, I would. Darius McCrary grabbed me. I was going to whip his behind. Looking back on the alleged incident, Peyton now recognizes that White was just a kid at the time. Because of this, she doesn't give him all the credit for how she says he behaved. I give some of those adults credit too, she said, letting him run wild and do whatever he wanted to do, thinking he can say what he wants to say, and hurt people's feelings and all that. Family Matters was a cornerstone of ABC's TGF lineup before concluding its run on CBS in its 9th and final season. The sitcom, born as a spin-off of Perfect Strangers, entertained audiences from 1989 to 1998. I didn't see how I was stepping on anybody's toes. I was taking anybody's shine. It's very important that I say this. I was not very well welcomed to the cast at all, okay? He claimed on TV One's Uncensored in May 2021. And I don't need to rehash that with the adults over and over again. They know what it is. The incident appears to have originated when Jaleel White was dissatisfied with not having the creative control he desired for portraying Urkel's gangster cousin OGD. In the same interview, Jo Marie Payton explained that White's rapid rise to stardom might have contributed to problematic behavior on set. However, she also reflected that in hindsight, White was just a kid at the time, not attributing all the responsibility for his behavior to him. Payton suggested that adults around White allowed him to run wild, doing as he pleased and potentially hurting people's feelings.
When it was time to go, I had already put in 10 and a half years I had done this character. And the way I explain is that when you're a baker, you don't always want to bake cake.
In the original sitcom, White's portrayal of Urkel was both exceptionally annoying and lovable. Learning about White's reported behind-the-scenes issues and poor attitude might be disappointing to fans. However, Payton emphasized that her issue was limited to certain cast and crew members without specifying who. Despite these challenges, she expressed her love and appreciation for the Family Matters crew. With numerous 90s sitcom reboots in development, a Family Matters reboot could potentially find its way to screens in some capacity in the near future. In addition to comments from his former co-stars about his past behavior, Jaleel White has faced allegations of domestic violence from his ex-girlfriend Bridget Hardy, who is also the mother of his child. However, it's important to note that TMZ reported in 2010 that White was never charged with battery in the alleged incident.
I went to my dressing room and I cried. And then the producers came to check on me, and my dad told them that I would never do that character again.
Legal issues involving a former child star often raise concerns among the public, and White's situation with Hardy made headlines in 2010. The controversy resurfaced in 2012, prompting White to address the matter directly. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, the actor took the opportunity to share his perspective and clarify what had transpired between him and Hardy. Addressing the resurgence of the domestic violence allegations that ex-girlfriend Bridget Hardy had made against him in 2010, actor Jaleel White explained to Entertainment Tonight via Daily Mail, "There was no verbal A, couples argue, that's normal. I'm not going to pretend like we didn't have any arguments. Obviously we broke up. But to say verbal A and to come out with that during Dancing with the Stars, when this is an old child custody case matter that was settled in 2010, this is not a new story. It was an attack on my joy." White remained consistent with his version of events and his reiteration of the fact that his conflict with Hardy was in relation to the custody of their child together. In a statement originally published by People and reposted via ET, he said in part, "The allegations made against me back in 2010 have suspiciously resurfaced in time to coincide with my new show on Sci-Fi and Dancing with the Stars. Bridget Hardy has consistently shown a knack for timing throughout our child custody disputes." Despite the challenges and allegations he faced with ex-girlfriend Bridget Hardy, including accusations of A, Jaleel White maintained, in his 2012 statement via Entertainment Tonight, that his focus remained on his daughter with Hardy. White White expressed, "My only hope is that when my daughter Googles her parents one day in her future, she sees that her father acted with class and dignity when pressed to the fire. Bridget Hardy is the mother of my only daughter in this world, and without Miss Hardy, I would not have the treasure that is my daughter. God knows the truth. I ask for your sensitivity during this time. I can assure all of my fans this is only residue from a child custody matter." White sought to convey his commitment to handling the situation with grace and emphasize the importance of his daughter's well-being. As reported by Essence, Jaleel White has consistently shared photos of himself with his daughter, Samaya, on his social media platforms in the years following his public disputes with Bridget Hardy. On his Instagram account, White has posted a carousel of photos showcasing moments with Samaya, including attending a Golden State Warriors basketball game together. It seems that White has successfully moved on from the challenges of the past and has directed his energy towards being a dedicated parent to Samaya. Following the controversies involving Jaleel White, details about his life and career have become relatively elusive. There's widespread speculation about White's reduced presence in the entertainment world, with some suggesting it might be a deliberate personal choice. There's a perception that certain controversies were not primarily linked to co-stars, but were indicative of White's individual stress and mental state during that period. The scarcity of concrete information about the aftermath only adds to the intrigue surrounding the entire Jaleel White controversy.
Because I just wanted to get through the episode because I was too worried, and I knew I had done it so well. I was like, damn, they definitely gonna make fun of me at school for this. I mean, I'm full.
The persisting Jaleel White controversy serves as a clear illustration of the complexities fame can entail. While White's portrayal of Steve Urkel undeniably made a lasting impact on sitcom history, the controversies surrounding him have equally contributed to shaping his narrative. As this narrative continues to unfold, it is crucial for readers and observers to stay informed and exercise discernment, distinguishing between verified facts and speculative accounts, to gain a more accurate understanding of the situation. This is not just Jaleel and Darius who face challenges while being part of the show. Others also face their share of difficulties. After navigating the professional challenges post-Family Matters, Jaime Foxworth found herself grappling with personal demons long after the show had concluded. In the 2000s, she struggled with heavy dependence on alcohol and along with mental health issues. Foxworth opened up about this period on the Dr. Oz show, acknowledging the severity of her situation. She mentioned, "It got bad for me," and described how for most people, drinking and smoking weed may not be considered severe issues. However, due to her battle with depression, she found herself isolating, spending much of her time alone in her bedroom, getting high. So for most people, drinking and smoking weed is really not that bad. But for me, I had a little bit of depression, and I was basically keeping myself to myself. She got to the point where she was just hanging out by herself in her bedroom, getting high and almost always alone. When she realized she'd cut herself off from the world and didn't really have friends, recognizing that she had disconnected from the world and lacked meaningful connections, Foxworth realized it was time to seek help. In 2008, she participated in VH1's Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, although she continued to smoke for a few months afterward. Her decision to quit for good came when she discovered she was pregnant. Fans also believe that something was very suspicious with the show. One of them wrote, "Steve Urkel is the reason why this show got saved and also why it got canceled. Once they started doing that sci-fi stuff, it jumped the shark." Another Roan added, "Steve Urkel is the definition of a blessing and a curse. Initially, he saved the show as it was originally on the verge of cancellation. Then as his popularity grew, some of his storylines became ridiculous. Him being able to teleport around the world, but producers were giving the fans what they wanted, which caused tension between castmates. I remember when it went to CBS and I was like, that's still on?" Well, Darius's narrative suggests that Hollywood's alleged rituals are a part of the industry from old times. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.